What's up, Warriors fans, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to dive into some intriguing rumors and potential moves that could really shake up Golden State's roster as the season progresses. Now, I've been following trade chatter closely, and one name keeps popping up that could be a game-changer for the Warriors: Walker Kessler. Over the summer, we heard whispers about Kessler possibly being part of a trade package for Jonathan Kuminga, but nothing concrete ever happened. It was always tied to larger deals, maybe involving someone like Lauri Markkanen, but the Jazz clearly decided to hold on to Markkanen, so that window closed. However, now there's a new layer. The Jazz aren't planning to sign Kessler to a rookie-scale extension, which immediately signals he might be on the trade block sooner rather than later. The rumor I came across today suggests the Warriors could target Kessler in exchange for Quinn Post and maybe a secondary piece like Santos or Jackson Davis. On the surface, this seems like a smart move. Post has been solid, showing he can contribute at a high level, but the Warriors' backcourt is crowded. Will Richardson, Buddy Hield, Gary Payton, Seth Curry eventually, Pat Spencer, Moses Moody? The list goes on. Moving Post might make sense if you're acquiring a player like Kessler, who could bring a defensive presence similar to what Andrew Bogut provided during his prime. Kessler's ability to match up physically with elite big men like Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, or even Joel Embiid is exactly what the Warriors have been missing. Size matters in today's NBA, and while speed and shooting are vital, there's no substitute for length when facing teams built to dominate the paint. Now, let's break down why this could be crucial for Golden State moving forward. Draymond Green is still their defensive anchor, but even he can only cover so much. Against bigger lineups, he has to exert extra energy to guard guys who are his size or taller. Bringing in Kessler could allow Draymond to slide to the four more naturally, giving the Warriors versatility without overtaxing their veteran star. Kessler may average roughly 8 points and 8 rebounds, but the value is in those rebounds coming against players where height and physicality make a real difference. Players Draymond would struggle to box out consistently. The Jazz might be willing to part ways with him, especially since they appear committed to building around Kyle Filipowski, who is younger and has more years of team control remaining. This trade could open roster flexibility for Golden State, giving them options to adjust rotations and manage minutes more effectively throughout the season. Looking ahead, the Warriors' upcoming matchup against the Nuggets will be a true test of their current roster construction. Size and length are going to be critical factors, especially given Denver's front court featuring Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and other bigs who can stretch the floor and exploit mismatches. If Golden State doesn't address this deficiency soon, it could expose vulnerabilities early in the season, particularly in playoff-type matchups where every possession matters. That said, the Warriors have demonstrated they can adapt mid-game, and this is where smart roster moves, like potentially acquiring Kessler, could provide a huge advantage. Meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga has been showing flashes of brilliance that make him hard to bench or trade. Against the Lakers, he dropped 17 points with remarkable efficiency from beyond the arc, adding 9 rebounds and 6 assists. This is the type of performance that cements his place in the starting lineup and indicates he's ready to contribute significantly to the Warriors' championship window, both this year and in the seasons that follow. Kuminga's ability to attack the basket, create his own shot, and add high-energy defense makes him an essential part of the team's future, especially as the franchise gradually transitions away from the older core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. His continued development is a bright spot and could be an X-factor in games against elite teams, providing both scoring punch and defensive versatility. The current starting lineup looks something like Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Quinn Post, with Al Horford coming off the bench. This setup provides balance, but it still lacks the interior size necessary to consistently compete with teams that have 7-footers or dominant power forwards. If Kessler comes aboard, he could slot directly into this rotation, immediately improving the Warriors' ability to contest shots, secure rebounds, and defend multiple positions. This isn't just about adding another player. It's about strategic roster engineering to maximize both talent and matchups. Another interesting point is how the Warriors' small ball approach will fare against teams like the Nuggets or the Rockets, who run deep, athletic, and physically imposing lineups. Golden State has the shooting and pace to keep up offensively, but defensive matchups will be tested. Against Denver, Jokic's presence alone demands size and attention, while Aaron Gordon brings speed and power that could challenge Kuminga and the younger forwards. If Golden State fails to match length with length, they risk being overpowered in the paint and on the boards. Still, there's optimism because the Warriors have a history of adjusting and finding ways to win despite size disadvantages. Their experience, chemistry, and coaching should allow them to exploit mismatches and maintain momentum through a long stretch of games. On a lighter note, the league has provided some entertainment with those halftime segments featuring Michael Jordan. While they're pre-recorded rather than in-depth tactical breakdowns, they offer glimpses of MJ's competitive spirit and love for the game. Even now, decades removed from his playing days, he still has that itch to compete, and it's fascinating to watch. Whether it's casual 3-on-3 games or exhibition scenarios, the basketball world benefits from seeing his perspective and engagement. These moments also remind fans of the importance of legacy, mentorship, and the passion that drives players to compete long after their peak professional years. At the end of the day, Golden State's small ball lineup is about to face its first real challenge. Games against teams like the Nuggets or Rockets will expose weaknesses, test rotations, and demand adaptability. Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, and Jokic create difficult matchups, while guards like Curry and Payton handle the perimeter. How the Warriors respond will set the tone for the season. If they succeed, they could start 2-0, possibly riding a winning streak into the early part of the year. If they falter, it may force quick adjustments, including trade considerations and lineup experiments. Either way, Warriors fans are in for an exciting start, full of high-stakes basketball and intriguing roster developments. As we continue breaking down Golden State's potential trajectory this season, the focus really has to be on adaptability and how the roster can handle high-level competition. The Warriors have always relied on a combination of experience and versatility. But this year, the balance between speed, shooting, and size will define whether they remain legitimate contenders. One of the big questions revolves around how the team handles their interior defense. Draymond Green is the emotional and defensive anchor, but he can only cover so much. Against teams loaded with 7-footers, wings who can switch seamlessly, and power forwards who can push the pace, the Warriors need another reliable interior presence. That's why a player like Walker Kessler becomes so intriguing. His length, shot-blocking ability, and rebounding could fill a gap that small ball lineups often struggle with. Right now, Golden State's frontcourt depth is decent but not overwhelming. Post and Horford provide rotation options, but neither gives the type of size and rim protection that Kessler would immediately offer. Beyond just adding size, acquiring Kessler could influence the entire defensive scheme. Imagine Draymond moving to the 4 spot more frequently, while Kessler patrols the paint at 5. That immediately gives the Warriors flexibility to switch seamlessly on pick and rolls, defend multiple positions, and contest shots that previously would have been high-percentage looks for opponents. It's not just about the stats, points, rebounds, blocks. It's about altering the opposing team's approach. Teams like Denver, with Jokic controlling the floor, or the Rockets, with their ultra-athletic lineups, will have to account for Kessler's presence in ways that could open up perimeter opportunities for Curry, Thompson, and Kuminga. The psychological impact of having a rim protector changes the dynamic of a game. Opponents may hesitate on drives, rethink passing angles, and even adjust rotations, giving the Warriors a subtle but significant advantage. Speaking of Kuminga, his recent performances highlight another crucial element of this roster, the emerging next generation. He's shown the ability to not just score, but orchestrate plays, crash the boards, and defend multiple positions. If Kuminga continues on this trajectory, he becomes the cornerstone of the post-Curry, post-Green era. Pairing a player like him with strategic additions like Kessler would give Golden State a blend of youthful athleticism and seasoned leadership that is hard to replicate. It's a combination that could sustain a championship window over multiple years, particularly if they manage to balance minutes and keep the core healthy. This is why trade discussions are more than just speculation. They have a real impact on long-term planning and the team's championship odds. The upcoming matchup against Denver is an excellent early test of this theory. The Nuggets' size, skill, and tempo will force the Warriors to play at their highest level defensively and offensively. Jokic is always a matchup nightmare, and Gordon brings a physicality that can challenge the younger forwards. How Golden State handles these rotations, screens, and post-ups will reveal a lot about whether small ball can succeed or if roster adjustments become urgent. Teams like the Rockets, with their sprawling wingspan and versatile forwards, also represent a threat if the Warriors don't address size mismatches. Curry's shooting can mitigate some of that, but length and defensive coverage can turn even prolific shooters into non-factors if the rotation isn't precise. The narrative here isn't just about one player, though Kessler certainly stands out. It's about constructing a roster that can adapt to a variety of scenarios while maintaining the offensive firepower Golden State is known for. Imagine lineups where Curry, Thompson, Kuminga, Kessler, and Draymond rotate, mixing in Horford and Post for matchup-based minutes. You suddenly have a unit capable of switching across positions, contesting shots effectively, and still executing the high-octane offense the Warriors thrive on. Add in bench scoring from players like Hield or Richardson, and you've got a team that can sustain runs while keeping opponents guessing. This depth and adaptability may ultimately determine whether Golden State remains a top contender or just a playoff team that struggles against elite size. Another angle worth exploring is how trade acquisitions impact locker room chemistry. Bringing in a player like Kessler isn't just about stats or matchups. It's about personality, work ethic, and fitting into a system that emphasizes unselfish play. The Warriors' success has always been rooted in a cohesive culture where stars share the floor, make each other better, and maintain defensive accountability. Integrating a new player, even one with great talent, requires careful management. The coaching staff and veteran leadership have to ensure that rotations make sense and that the team's identity isn't diluted. But based on Kessler's reputation as a high-energy, disciplined player, he seems like a strong cultural fit. Pair him with Draymond's leadership and Curry's championship experience, and you have a system that could enhance both individual development and team success. The other critical aspect is offensive spacing. Kessler isn't a primary scorer, but his presence in the paint can open lanes for shooters and slashers. Defenses that collapse on him leave perimeter shooters wide open, and that benefits Curry, Thompson, and even Kuminga when driving to the basket. It's a chess match. The more options and versatility the Warriors have, the harder it is for opposing coaches to scheme effectively. Over time, this could translate into sustained offensive efficiency, fewer turnovers, and better control in high-pressure situations, like playoff series against elite teams with length and athleticism. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers are swirling around the Bay Area, and the latest buzz has every Warriors fan holding their breath. Klay Thompson might be making a dramatic return to Golden State. Sources close to the team, though insisting on anonymity, hint that the Splash Brothers era could be reigniting in full force. The thought alone sends shivers through Oracle Arena, or, more accurately, the Chase Center, where fans have long waited for the triumphant return of the backcourt duo that once terrorized defenses across the league. For months, speculation has danced around Thompson's future. After seasons of injuries and uncertainty, the idea that Klay could lace up the Warriors jersey again feels almost cinematic. Imagine the precision threes raining down once more, Curry drawing defenders only for Thompson to calmly pull up from the corner. Golden State's signature symphony of motion and shot-making could be back on full display. Players in the locker room, according to insiders, have reportedly been buzzing about the possibility, feeding the rumor mill with quiet confidence that Klay's presence could be more than symbolic. It could be transformative. Analysts are weighing in too, though cautiously. Some suggest that Thompson's return would instantly elevate the team's ceiling. pairing his sharpshooting with Curry's unmatched ball handling and vision. Others warned that after time away, rhythm and chemistry could take weeks, if not months, to fully restore. Yet, the allure of the Splash Brothers reuniting is undeniable, especially in a league where star duos define dynasties. Social media has already exploded with fan-made graphics, retro mixtapes, and hopeful hashtags like #Splashback, fueling the rumor fire even further. Even beyond the hardwood, the narrative writes itself. The return of a hometown hero, the rekindling of one of the most iconic backcourts in NBA history, and the promise of thrilling playoff runs ahead. Whether this turns out to be speculation or reality, the mere idea of Klay back in Golden State is enough to send waves of excitement throughout the Bay Area. If the whispers prove true, the NBA might just witness a second act for the Splash Brothers, one that fans have been dreaming of ever since that final championship banner was raised. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.